everyone! Has everyone agreed that that is the best intro that we could do for this?
Yes, I believe it was decided that that was the best.
Everyone agreed pretty unanimously, but hope you are all doing well, and don't mind my delay. My computer's just being stupid. So if you hear me hysterically laughing, you'll see it about a split second later. With me, as always, is my phenomenal, spectacular, and award-nominated co-host, Brandi.
Stop.
Yes. Oh, you're amazing. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real well. This week is coming up Brandi, I think.
Heck yes! Love to hear that. You know what? We got Louisa Expero in the chat saying hello. We got Bree in the chat saying hello. Howdy to everyone. A nice
hello.
Iowa howdy to you. Are we a little bit more well-rested than the last time we appeared for a stream?
You know, I think you're going to have to answer that question.
The answer is no.
Okay, cool.
It's painfully true. That's what happens when you're a weeb and a new episode comes out and it's so groundbreaking that you end up crying for like an hour and then rewatching the episode.
Aww.
At like 10 at night. It was good though. It was really good. Traumatizing, but good.
I feel like the best ones are always traumatizing. Like,
they are.
If it didn't leave you questioning some things, then it wasn't worth it.
Oh, yes. How was the con, Katie? Find any rare collectibles? I found a really elderly meteorologist that not a lot of people had met in person, so by that, yes.
Nice.
But yeah, last week we were off. I swear, we just do this once every other week. We'll get a better schedule, guys. I promise. It's my fault. Because life. But yeah, I was down in Tulsa, Oklahoma for a conference, for a meteorology conference and convention, which... you know, it's not as fun as you think. It only had 5 booths, but I did get a free T-shirt from the NOAA Weather Radio Company, which is way cooler for me than it sounds.
No. I mean, you're talking to the person who has like a Kiko soy sauce T-shirt. So
there you go. Yeah, okay. Acceptable then. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was fun. I got a T-shirt, and now I'm back, and I'm just realizing how much I want to take another vacation. Which, not going to be fun this weekend. I'll tell you guys that, because a guy I had a crush on for literally every year until he announced his engagement invited me to be in his wedding, or to be at his wedding, so.
All right, so we'll have to pour some out for Katie later on this weekend.
Please. Grab a nice water. Kick it back. Oh, it's going to be an interesting one. But you know what? Interesting is how I would title this episode, because I forget about it so often.
Oh, no. Well, I don't want to make it a thing, but this is not Chapter 15. I believe it is actually Chapter 16.
Did I mess up the numbering?
You know what? It's fine, though.
No, it's not! Let me just erase that mistake. There we go. It's not on the screen anymore. It doesn't make sense.
I'm over here like, is it 15? Is it 16?
Let me check. Avatar. No, not the fan art. Not the fan art. Let me just say.
I kinda thought it was 16, but maybe I'm wrong.
Let me check. It is episode number 16. You're right.
Okay.
Pray for the fallen
I didn't want to be right.
It's fine. It's typical Katie fashion. And what makes you think my demons are dead, Bree? They keep me past dreams, not demons. Never mind, I read that wrong. I was gonna say they're right here. They keep me company.
Oh, you know what? Breanna just said that Bato was 14. You know what? We have probably been off since the winter solstice. Because we did 2 episodes in one.
Wait a second. I thought it was the last episode. So did we miss one?
No. We didn't miss one. So if the winter solstice is an hour special, but it's like I don't know. It's like episode 12 and episode. Well, obviously not 12 and 13, but it's like episode like whatever number, and they're split up. But since we coupled them together for an episode. So this is episode 15 for us, but it's the 16th episode of the series. And for whatever reason, this week I caught it.
What?
Are you
Wait.
like, are you?
My brain's breaking.
Okay, so like, the Winter Solstice Part 1 is episode 7. And the Winter Solstice Part 2 is episode 8. But we didn't split that up into 2 weeks. We did it. So which means we have been off since the Waterbending Scroll, Jet, the Great Divide, the Storm, the Blue Spirit, the Fortune Teller, Bato of the Water Tribe, and this week is just the first week that I've noticed it.
Well, hey, I mean, at least we didn't get through the entire first season. I guess it would have reset. Oh my gosh, just
yes,
the last
Breanna,
few episodes.
We really do strive for quality here.
High quality. That is absolutely
nothing but
what we do.
Top-notch. I mean, what would you expect from two broadcasting professionals?
Yeah, although I must say, probably not going to get any awards for the show.
That's fine. You know what? We're just doing this for the laughs. We're doing this
Honestly,
so that we can go back and we can rewatch these and go, wow, what dorks were we?
That reminds me, I have to find, for the first part, Rapunzel had something amazing happen. Yeah, Brandy's Virgo. I'm a Scorpio, so I guess we play well.
It was nothing but chaos from the beginning.
Yeah, it was not that far back. I looked at the video listing. Okay, so I just screwed up. Great to know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Recent
right.
screw-ups. We're fine. But I must share this because this happened to Rapunzel, who I don't think is in right now. Rapunzel shared this and said, I don't care if I already know how to count to 10. This is amazing. It's an Avatar-themed counting book.
Oh, nice.
And just, tagged myself, so many random fandoms, Bree, and then Jeanette Varney.
Yeah,
I think
Varney.
I'm saying her right name. Yeah, look who responded.
Well, of course she did, because Jeanette is just this wonderful little being.
Freaking awesome. How cool is that? And I think, where did it go? Because Rapunzel also, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Where did it go? Okay, I'm going to find it. Rapunzel sent in some fan art of Miyuki.
Oh.
That is just incredible.
Oh.
And I love it. I think Rapunzel posted it on Twitter. If I can. Oh, hey, that's me. Aw, it's always strange to see people actually retweet me. Oh, that's so nice. Where did it go? Oh, it's here. I know it's here. Also, Rapunzel posts some quality content. If you guys aren't following, go to Twitter, follow Rapunzel.
That's it. I'll get a Twitter. I've denied it for so long. I almost got it back in college, but I was like, you know what? I'm not funny enough.
No. Well,
but you know what? If Rapunzel out here putting out some nice content that I'm missing,
do it. Do it. I cannot find it right now, but I do have this gem that just needs to be reshared.
Yes. It's so...
My gosh,
about that.
Rapunzel.
I think about that every single time I see the Cabbage Man now.
I need that to be we need to go thrift shopping. And we need to make that into a cosplay. And just thrift all these Cabbage Patch.
I mean, let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah. Ooh, okay.
That's your next vacation.
Yes. Well, and speaking of my vacation, how'd the fanfic writing go? It didn't, because I got to the airport almost, and I almost missed my flight. But it's fine. There we go.
That tracks with Katie.
I have a struggle. Let's see. Here we go. So many random fandoms there.
What does it say?
As per our agreement, Master Miyuki, and Miyuki has the Fire Lord crown. in her mouth. She's got a 50-pound bag of catnip. It's magnificent. And I think Bree shared. There it is. Yes, fan theory confirmed.
Yes. Yes. 100%. This is
incredible.
That's what happened.
Absolutely incredible. So yes, Bree coming in clutch with the DM. Thank you very much. But with all the laughs of last week and the eventual fanfic that will come from it, now we switch to a more serious episode.
Yes.
Because I don't know about you, but like I don't typically remember this episode as much just because of like the trauma that I have, like the suppressed memories of Aang trying to firebend.
Aww.
But it scared me. Cause like I like fire. I like playing with fire. I'm a pyromaniac. And I twirled fire in high school with the fire baton. It was really fun. Almost caught the field on fire.
She did. I've seen the videos.
Yeah, it was great. But this, like, I want to know how you feel about Aang's handling of learning how to firebend. But first, wait! We have to read the Netflix description.
Oh my gosh, you're absolutely right. We can't breach a protocol like this. Etiquette.
I totally forgot.
Nothing but
also,
quality
Nate
here.
knows reviews. Hey yo, what's up? How's it going? I have it pulled up. Like that's how close I came to missing this.
Oh my gosh.
But the description goes, Aang and the others slip into a Fire Nation town so he can observe firebending firsthand. But their plans go quickly wrong, and they must seek refuge. That's not proper English, is it?
You'll have to read it again.
But and this is a whole different sentence, so it just goes, Aang and the others slip into a Fire Nation town so he can observe firebending firsthand. Period. But their plans go quickly wrong, and they must seek refuge. Wouldn't it be plans go wrong quickly?
But their plans go
I
wrong.
ain't no good speaker of English, but I know some.
I think you're right. Sorry. So like I'm terrible at English. And so I was just automatically like making the switch in my head.
Yeah.
And so I was like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And then you were like, shouldn't it go the other way? And I was like, oh, she is saying it that other way. Yes, I do believe. I do believe. Yep.
I guess the first part was good, the second part was trash. So I'm betting you can improve that.
You know, I kind of struggled with this one this week. I don't know what, and like we even had 2 weeks. We had a 2-week break, so you know I have nothing but none excuses. Sorry, see, I told you I'm bad.
You got none excuses. No.
I got none excuses. I got no excuses. All right, here we go. Aang is given the opportunity to learn firebending, but becomes frustrated when his new teacher holds him back.
All right. I mean, that's pretty much the whole episode right there, is Aang getting mad that he has to breathe.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Oh my gosh. Where'd it go? I have the screen grab for it. I remembered it this time. Sassy Aang.
I mean, this one really does have some nice sassy Aang.
It's just, I've been breathing for hours. You want to stop breathing? Oh my god.
But that's like such a dad joke for John to make. Is like, you want to stop breathing? Like,
yeah. What?
Aang's just like, well, that's not helpful.
Like, I mean, for a firebender, like, I get he's, like, a deserter and everything, and he doesn't want to be found. He's pretty darn close to a Fire Nation village for not wanting to be found.
Yeah, he's pretty close to a colony, but I like to think that, like, he was already there, and then the colony showed up, and then he was like, well, I could leave, but it's not like they know that I'm here. Plus, like, he had, like, that whole other, like, tribe of people that were, like,
True, like the forest people.
Yeah, like, and I don't know if I think I was reading the wiki on John John, and they said that like that tribe of people like thought he was a god, and I was like, what? So I guess they were really showing up for John John, which is why he was able to stay so near that colony.
I guess.
But I don't know. And then I guess, I mean, are they even really that close to that colony? Because
I mean, it did take Zhao a little bit to get there.
It took Zhao a little bit to get there, and plus, like, they were on Appa, so, like, when they left the colony. True. So maybe it's a little bit further than what we think it is, but I don't know.
Regardless, recluse in the woods with a whole army of forest people. This dude, I mean, doesn't necessarily look like he would be a god with the whole like scruffy tuft and whatever, but you know what?
I was thinking about this and I was like, okay, well maybe obviously like the people that are around him, they seem a bit more primitive, because even like the way that they talk isn't
they're like, no, you're coming with us.
It's just like it's very just like, it's like they don't not like I'm one to judge. It's like they don't understand how to speak English. or like they don't understand like proper sentence structure, which again, obviously I don't. So like I'm not coming at them, but it's just like the way that they speak is kind of primitive. So I kind of don't wonder if it's just like kind of like something kind of like what the swamp benders are, but I would say that even the swamp benders
what is the Sun Warriors?
Maybe they're like some ancient thing for earthbenders who don't realize that there are other benders. So the fact that Jean Jean could firebend kind of like made them think that he was a god. I don't really know. And this is also like banking off of the fact that like the Avatar wiki is correct, because I'm still like in that college mode where I'm like, don't trust wikis, but I've been graduated for like 3 years, so who knows if that'll ever stop.
It doesn't. Now, Bree says, was Jean Jean there before the lion turtles? He's immortal.
I don't think so.
Maybe he was there before a turtle showed up. Or the lion turtle made it to that area of the world.
That would make him like 10,000 years old. And the wiki also said that he was 61. So
61? Man, I thought he was like in his 70s at least.
You always think that they're older than what they are.
I mean, I thought my band director was like 80. Turns out he was in his like 50s, 60s. So, sorry, Mr. Peters. He has no idea I do this. But yeah, no, I even in cartoons, I misjudge age. I blame anime. Because
okay, that's fine.
Like, you can look at people and like Sokka, I could be like, oh yeah, he's in his 20s. No, he's 16. What? So, yeah, no. But yeah, I must ask for anyone in the chat, like, and Bree, Louise X Sparrow, Nate, you're still here. Anyone who's watching, if you were a firebender or you wanted to become a firebender and you had that capability, would you want Jean Jean to be your teacher? I don't know about you guys, but I would not.
Honestly, like, I think that I would.
Really?
Like, yeah, so, like, I... kind of, like, going back to, like, the question that you were asking, you know, before we read the descriptions. I've always really liked this episode. And,
really?
And rewatching it for this... Well, like, I've rewatched it, like, 3 times in preparation for this podcast because I have no life. And I rewatched it, and I was like, why do I like it so much? And then I rewatched it again, and I was like, yeah, why do I why do I remember liking this one so much? And, like, it's interesting because I think it kind of shows how desperate Aang is to learn the other elements, and he really feels the pressure of learning them before the comet comes and everything like that. But, like, John, like, he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
And I was just like, why do I like this? Like, I still think it's a good episode. I think that it brings up a lot of interesting aspects to like how people see the Fire Nation and how the Fire Nation in turns kind of see themselves and everything like that. And I think it does a little bit for Zhao's character that kind of explains some stuff later going on. So I feel like it's a really important episode. But yeah, I don't know why I remember liking it so much. Because I don't think that I like it as much as I thought I did.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I kind of liked it a little bit better than when I was a kid. So maybe we're meeting at a neutral ground here.
Maybe, but like I just remember, like, if I was gonna rewatch something from the first season, this would have been on the list to rewatch. And now I'm like, well, would I keep it on that list? And I don't know the answer.
Yeah. Well, I see Louise X Sparrow says, if Ira wasn't an option, sure. On the flip side, we got Breanna saying, I think I'd pass on John John. I feel Ira would be a better teacher, but if we're subbing Ira, I would have to go with Zuko. Honestly, do you think at this point in the show, say if Zuko and Ira get separated or something, Ira would be willing to teach Aang?
I think so. Like at this point in the show, like like drop everything, like Iroh chooses to leave Zuko or something happens to Zuko.
Zuko's just gone.
Zuko's just gone. I think he would, because my theory is still that Iroh is kind of delaying Zuko in capturing the Avatar. Like, yes, he wants to help Zuko regain his honor, but he's also just trying to teach Zuko that he doesn't need to capture the Avatar to get his honor. Like, there are different ways to regain honor and to be a good person and, you know, all this stuff. So I do think that, plus, and spoiler alert, if nobody has seen the series in its entirety, Iroh is part of the White Lotus. Like, and he is a grand master of the White Lotus. So I would think that he is trying to help the Avatar, but also just trying to save Zuko in the process. So if something happened to Zuko, like he's just gone, then yeah, I think Iroh would be trying to join Team Avatar. I don't think that he would try and like lead them or anything like that. Like, I think that he would still allow them to make their own choices and stuff like that, because that's just like who Iroh is. But he would become like this mentor towards the group a lot sooner.
Could you imagine if Iroh joined Team Avatar instead of Zuko? Like, holy cow! Here's a bunch of kids and a grandpa.
I think it would be very interesting to see that, but I don't think it would carry as much weight as Zuko joining it, because I think that we see, especially in season 2 with Iroh's character, we see him really being like this good person. Like even in season 1, like nobody hates Iroh.
Yeah, no, he's just nice.
And so like him joining the gang instead of Zuko, I feel like wouldn't have paid off so much. Like it wouldn't have carried so much weight. Mm-hmm. Because it would just be like, well, of course Iroh is joining them. But Zuko, you know, up until that very last moment where he does decide to choose to join them, like, you really don't know where Zuko's gonna go. Mm-hmm. So it would be interesting. A very interesting what if. But I don't think that it was the right choice. I think the right choice is having Zuko.
Definitely. Well, and also, Bree brings up a good point. We'd all agree to let Boomy teach us earthbending. I would have loved to have seen Boomy join the gang, just as like the earthbending teacher.
But just to like come back to what Louise was saying, that she would much rather have Iroh, I think I would still much rather have Jean Jean, because yes,
really?
Iroh is going to, like, you know, like hold your hand, and you know I feel like he has a much better understanding of what fire is, because obviously he's done stuff with like the Sun Warriors and everything. But I think Jean-Jean's perspective of what fire is, like, he is so afraid of it, and, like, he's kind of lost respect for it and stuff like that, and he's, like, such a, like, a disciplinary that, like, I would be fine. I would be fine, like, learning fire from him. I don't think that it would be, like, the correct way to firebend. Like, I think Iroh and later on Zuko would be able to teach me the correct way of firebending and what firebending really is. But given the 100-Year War and everything that we know up until this point about firebending, I would pick Jean-Jean over Iroh.
That's a good point. We don't know that there's a proper way to firebend yet. We just know there's Jean-Jean's way.
Yeah, and obviously he's very masterful in firebending. Like, he does that whole, like, disappear trick and everything. So he has a lot of control over firebending. Like, he is obviously a prodigy. I just don't think that we get to see him teach those skills or kind of see what kind of a teacher he could be, because he was so afraid of what Aang could do with firebending, and plus Aang hadn't learned the other elements that he needed to in order to learn fire, which, like, we can get into later because I have some thoughts on that. But I think that he was really doing his best trying to control this power that Aang can possess, and was trying to, you know, like, I think he had really good intentions. He wanted Aang to respect fire and what it could be, and it ended up backfiring, ha ha ha, and it made Aang afraid of firebending, which I don't think is Jean-Jean's intentions. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of what happened.
Well, I'm interested to hear what you have to say about Aang learning it out of order, because, fun fact, Avatar fun fact here, apparently Kyoshi is the only other Avatar known in the canon to have broken the cycle of earth, water, air, fire.
So like in the Kyoshi books, and I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but she, I think she tries to learn
water.
I think water bending, maybe. But so like the only thing that she knows how to bend is earth, and like she can kind of bend it.
Yeah.
And so she like tries to learn water bending, and her friend who's a firebender is like, you can't do that because bad things just happen if you learn it out of order. And it's just kind of like alluded to the cycle and stuff like that. Like I think that's all it kind of is. Like it doesn't go into anything, but it does kind of like make it canon that like bad things happen to the Avatar when they learn the elements out of order. And I don't think that that's necessarily like, I think it comes down to something more personal. So like for Aang, he was an airbender. And the way that airbenders are taught to fight, they're kind of like taught to evade and not run away from things, but you know, they're never taught to like stand their ground or to throw the first punch. And so
yeah.
And so for him to come out and learn firebending after only knowing the discipline of air, he wouldn't be able to control it, cuz like we even see it in this episode. Like he tries to firebend and he burns Katara, and he's kind of like, oh no, what do I do? And Katara runs away, and then he kind of like, he doesn't even like try to make sure that she's all right or anything. Like he just retreats. And so I think I think that he personally needed to learn not firebending, but earthbending, learn how to stand his ground and face these challenges head on before he learned firebending. And he had to learn waterbending before he learned earthbending, because water is the element of change. And being the Avatar was this huge thing. And now he's 100 years into the future and everything has changed. And so he needed to learn to change and accept and adapt. And then that led to him having a little bit more confidence to learn how to earthbend and face challenges head on. And then that led to him being able to control fire and all this stuff. So I think them learning the elements out of order isn't like, it's not like this bad omen, but it kind of comes down to like this more personal thing for the Avatar. And like we can even see that with Kyoshi. Again, I don't want to ruin anything for the books in case anybody hasn't read it, but like
in the least spoiler-esque way.
Exactly. The next element that she would have needed to learn was fire. And Kyoshi needed to learn fire next because she needed to kind of have that ferocity and kind of like that.
Kyoshi and ferocity? What?
Exactly. Like the Kyoshi in the books is completely different from kind of like how the fandom sees her in the series. And I think that's great because like obviously the Kyoshi that we see in the series, she's kind of already completed her arc. Like she's a spirit. She's she did. So like her being like the Kyoshi that we see in the series in the book makes no sense because then she's a flat character and she isn't dynamic. She doesn't have this arc. So her being different in the books is 100% like understandable. But she needed to learn fire next, and then she needed to learn air next, and then she needed to learn water. And I think that even with Roku, he needed to learn air next because he was from the Fire Nation, and he was kind of like I don't think he's a noble son, but like obviously he was high enough to be best friends with the Fire Lord. Exactly. And so like he needed to get away from everything that we know about the Fire Nation and kind of like learn to, you don't always have to attack first. You don't always have to do these things. And so I think that's the reason why they have to learn these in these cycles, because each one, the element that they learn next compared to the element that they start with teaches them like these life lessons and like a different way. And so I think that's why the cycle, and that's why they have to learn these in order. Plus, obviously, it's the order that Avatar Wan received his elements from Legends of Korra.
I'm sure that has something to do with it.
I'm sure, but like, I think it really comes down to something more personal and how like they're able to bend. And we even see it with Korra, because like Korra is very physical, and so what can she do? She can bend the first 3, no problem, but she has problems bending air, which is very spiritual, and so we even see it with Korra. And I've been ranting about this too long.
No, Louisa Sparrow completely agrees, and I agree too. So that makes sense, because with Aang, when you're an air nomad, fighting really isn't your thing. You just evade and leave. Yeah. You learn water, it gives you you dip your toe in, if you will, to attack and defense. Then you go on to earth and you learn sturdy defense. Then you go on to fire and you learn sturdy offense. So it makes sense how that would evolve over time. Ooh, oh yes, Bree says, what about Korra? We see first she is bending 3 by like the age of 3.
Honestly, and so...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, like, I think with Korra, like, obviously she was such an incredible bender. And so her having this ability to bend right away, the 3 elements, I think still makes sense. Like, she was just a little kid, but already, like, possessed so much power. So maybe, like, for her, like, there wasn't, like, so much separation between the elements. Because like, what I'm saying is that, like, so, like, Aang grew up as an air nomad. He has these ideals rooted in him since he was a child. But with Korra, she's learning how to water, earth, and fire bend by the age of 3. Like, these elements aren't... She doesn't have, like, those ideals of water tribe. Like, to her, she's just a 3-year-old, and she's like, oh, look, mommy, look what I can do. Mm-hmm. And so the reason why she doesn't airbend is because, again, airbending is such a spiritual thing. And Korra lacked that spirituality, and that's the reason why she couldn't do the 4th one. I feel like if she was a little bit more spiritual, then yeah, like, she would have been 3 airbending. Yeah. A whole kit and
flying around.
Exactly. So, like, So like for Korra, she didn't need to learn them kind of in order because she could adapt and she could stand her ground and she could do these other things. It was just the spirituality that she lacked. And like obviously that was the story that needed to be told because we already watched an Avatar learn the other elements but air. So like from a story standpoint, like yeah, they did the right thing.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I think even thinking this way, Korra still kind of fits that mold and they have to learn them in these orders because of the way that they were raised or the way that they think of bending in general.
yeah. Well, and with Korra, she thinks of it as in terms of fighting. Yeah, I'm the Avatar, and you gotta deal with it. So
Yeah.
it makes sense. Earth can be used in fighting, fire and water used in fighting. Air is more evasion. So, and you mentioned the spiritual side of it. Air is definitely the most spiritual side, and Korra is very physical instead of spiritual. So it would make sense that for her, it would be off a little bit,
Yeah.
at least in my brain. You want to talk about, though, someone who's off a lot of it. Let's talk about Admiral Zhao. Hmm.
I feel like another reason why I really like this episode is I really love Zhao. Like he's a terrible person. Don't get me wrong. And obviously he's not even that great of a villain. But he serves his purpose oh so very well, which is he kind of takes like oh who's the main villain off of Zuko and puts it right on him. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's a villain to the gang and he's a villain to Zuko. And I think that's why I like him so much is because like he takes some of that pressure off of Zuko being like the main villain for season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very clearly the main villain. He sucks at villainy. Don't get me wrong. Like
Yeah.
if we were gonna somebody please draw either Dr. Doofenshmirtz as Zhao or Zhao as Dr. Doofenshmirtz because
Rapunzel has entered the chat.
because that's what he is.
I swear, like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's kind of how it turns out, at least in the season finale.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers. But Zhao, I love how just deliciously evil he is.
Plus,
There's
like
no
the voice
redeeming
acting.
him.
Like,
Oh,
hello.
Jason Isaacs. I love that man in an American accent. Uh, yes, and he is good character writing. Like it's got to be hard to write a villain more villainous than the villain, if that makes sense. Because he's got to be like Zuko, but not Zuko.
Yeah, like obviously, I think what makes him a little bit more villainous is so like Zuko I think still has his humanity. Like we even see it right off when they do their Agni Kai. Like he could have scarred Zhao and whatever, but he chose to walk away. And like if Zhao were given that opportunity, he would have given Zuko a matching scar. Like
Yeah,
or he would have
he
possibly
was a
killed him.
double-sided Zuko.
Exactly. And so like I think Zhao has just like he's lost his humanity. He just wants to win no matter what. Like we'll even see, in the season finale how far he's willing to go for that. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what makes him a greater villain than Zuko. I love that, by the way. Like I don't know why, but I thought you'd be better than Zuko. I think that's another reason why I really like this episode is just because of the fight that Zhao and Aang have at the end. And
That fight made me like this episode a lot more. Like the middle, I'm just like, Aang, don't be stupid, don't be an idiot. And I'm like, he's a kid, whatever. But this, it's like, he shows maturity and he shows being a kid. Like it's perfect mix.
Yeah, and I feel like in this spot, maybe not everything that Jean was trying to teach Aang clicked, but he at least understood maybe why you should fear fire a little bit more and how easy it is to lose control of it. And then
Exactly.
he used that against Zhao, knowing full well that Zhao had no concept of this ideal. So,
Oh yeah, the self-control side of it, I think, is definitely the main takeaway that Aang got from working with John, Jing Jing. I don't know. I've heard all
I'm
different
saying
people.
it. I'm saying it wrong, and I know I'm saying it wrong. But I'm sorry. I am from the Midwest. There, I'm doing
Yeah,
everything I can.
at least we are going. Well, we got this John guy, and yeah, he's in the swamp thing. No, yeah. So I'm gonna go with John. I'm gonna assume that's maybe okay. But
That's fine. That's great. We know
he's
who you're talking about.
he's not real, so he can't come and yell at us. Uh, but we also like with this. I loved the part where Aang is like, "You've lost this battle." He goes, "You haven't thrown a single blow." He goes, "No, but you have." Just like,
Yeah. And then you're just like, peace.
just oh my gosh. Such a burn from such a child must have devastated Zhao.
Yeah, he was like, it's bad enough that I have to put up with Zuko, but now I gotta put up with you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like both on my list. Well, and this is actually this is the only episode where we see Zhao but not Zuko.
Yes.
One of those
Trying to
fun
think.
little tidbits you find on the internet. Along with more fan art of shipping people like Bato and Hakoda? The
Hakoda
Katara
is their
Hakoda.
father's name.
Yeah, that was the first fan art that I was like, I hadn't even thought about that. There's one with John, and it works. It works. That's all I'm gonna say. It works. But I was not expecting it.
I don't know.
Just look up Jean fan
No,
art.
I'm not gonna. Like,
Do it.
nope.
Do it.
Don't.
If I suffer, you do too.
Don't Sheev Palpatine me.
Yeah. Now, I have another interesting thing I wanted to point out. I want to get your thoughts on it, and everyone in the comments too. Aang is kind of the idealist, kind of, he's lawful good, I'd say.
Okay,
And
yeah.
Jean is kind of lawful neutral. And then you have Zhao, who, not by the end of the series, but at the beginning of it, seems more lawful evil. So you see a bit of a spectrum here, because Aang's optimistic, I want to do firebending. Jean's like, okay, I'm a firebending master, but also you need to be afraid, like, you need to take care of this, like, this could be a problem. And then you get Zhao, who's just like, pew, 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 pew. And,
bring out your marshmallows.
Exactly! I imagine that's what he says when he enters an Earthbending kingdom, or like a village. Do I bring out those marshmallows? Whoosh.
He also turns into a cowboy.
Yeah, comes in on one of those rhino things, like, yo, what up? Oh, the exhaustion's kicking in again. But they're just such different firebenders. It's so, like, the air nomads, they're all just like, yay, air. I'm sure there were a couple that were like suffocation, but most of them are like, yay, air, and water benders and everything. But fire seems to be so more complex psychologically.
Well, and I think Jean like even kind of like gets into it when he's talking to Aang, and he's like, a boulder will not move without the bender, which like obviously like landslides and stuff like that, but like on a given day.
Sir, if I go and I push a rock, it will move.
On a given, but nevertheless, you still pushed it.
True.
But like,
it won't move on its own.
Yeah. So like, and plus they create the element, and I think that's something that we kind of like lose, is that fire comes from the breath, and they are the ones that are creating this element. So they're the ones that are creating the destruction. Like, they are the reason for this, and that's what Jean is. And he's like, we're the reason for this war that maybe he once believed in, but he has no idea why he did, or what the point of it is anymore. and he's seen the destruction of his own element, and the only person to blame, or the only people to blame, are the benders themselves, because they are making their own fire. Like,
That's a
and
good point.
I think that that's just like what it's come down to. Like, poor Jean is having this existential crisis. He wants to be good, but all he's ever been is fought in this war. And, like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do. I just can't stop thinking M. Night Shyamalan. Can't stop fire.
I know.
They can create it.
I know. But I think that's why fire is a little bit like if it feels more tormented, is because they're the ones creating it from the beginning. Like, a rock is always going to be there, water is always going to be there, air is always going to be there, but they're making the fire.
That is such, I'd never thought of it that way before.
Which, again, is why I like this episode, because it can get this deep. It's just, you have to, like, sit and you have to think about it, and sometimes I don't want to do that. And maybe I just didn't want to do that on my recent watch through, but
His life crisis at 60 is pretty good, a personal best.
Well, he's been out of at this point he's been out of the Navy for 10 years. So he hit that at 51, guys.
That's pretty good. Well, and then you got to factor in he has another kind of miniature crisis as soon as this dude shows up.
Well, and I wanted to ask you, why do you think Roku told Jean to teach Aang firebending, even though he knew that he hadn't learned the others?
I think the reason why, because I am thinking about this, is because, well, Roku is seeing everything, I guess, through Aang. Like, that's how, with the connection and everything. And it would make logical sense that after saying you must master the elements before the comet arrives, he's probably panicking a little bit. Like, where are we going to find a firebender who's willing to teach you? And so the first one that pops up, he's like, good enough. Please? I'm voluntolding you that you have to do this. But yeah, I think Roku just kind of had the same thought process as Aang of, this might be our only shot. So if I can throw my weight around, might as well.
So you're basically saying that, like, Roku is, like, seeing things through Aang's eyes.
I think so. Yeah, like, he's getting Aang's experience and stuff he can draw from that. Which, don't even get me started on how that could implicate things later on. But
So here's, like, the next thing. So, like, do you think that sorry, I'm just, like, trying to, like, formulate, because, like,
yeah,
but the scene before, it's Aang and Jean sitting across each other in candles, and then does Jean like make the fire, like, go up a lot and then extinguish, and then
he has it, like, it explodes and then it goes whoosh, and then it kind of goes black, and then there's a single candle, like, so
then, like, why did Roku, like, choose to, like, show him, like, to I can't even formulate my own question. Like, how do we get from here with Aang to the next scene with Roku standing in front of them without it being like the solstice or
Aang doesn't realize it? Because when we come back, he's like, I will teach you firebending. He just goes, oh, that's great. So he totally doesn't realize.
Well, that makes me think that, like, we somehow, like, get transported into Jean's head, and it's just, like, all in Jean's head.
His office. No, it would make sense if because you see later on members of the White Lotus, they are a little more spiritual. They're more connected. So,
and that was, like, my next thing. Like, do you think that it's just because he was part of the White Lotus and he does have this more spiritual side that this...
Oh, no. Brandi's audio's gone. R.I.P. Let's see. You have the filters on, right? I worry about your internet safety. Yes, I do. It's the Google search images that are my problems now. Let me just tell you what, if you look up Jean fan art, there's a ship that I'd be okay with. Like, it would make sense. And it just looks good. But, yeah, rip Brandy's mic. Oh, R.I.P. Well, in the meantime, we can show some fair and go a little bit out of order, so Brandy can get your mic fixed if that works for you. Oh, wait, are you back?
I'm back. Am
Yay!
I back?
You're back.
Hey.
What happened?
I don't know what happened, but it happened.
You can come and knock it out or knock it off of the desk.
That might have been
Pull the plug on it.
Well, I don't know what you were talking about when I was gone.
Oh, we were just saying, what was it? Rip to your mic, and I have internet safety filters on.
Oh,
and 15. Oh, wait, no, how many episodes? Rude. And also, Paige to Timon, FLP, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate everyone who just stops by and says hi, drops a like. That is much appreciated.
Yes,
and yes, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Well, so... no, not necessarily you. Yes, there we go. Yes, keep going.
Anyways, yes, maybe Jean does have the spiritual side that this episode doesn't show, but just kind of like backtrack. So the reason why I think Roku told Jean to teach him firebending, firebending, is what did I miss? What did I do? Why are you laughing?
It wasn't you. It's Bree. Sorry. Would you like to see it, or would you like to continue your thought?
I don't know. I'm really sidetracked.
We're just gonna let you gather your thoughts here while I open this up. There you go. A nice curd doodle.
I mean, the sideburns really be there.
Yes, and we will talk about the other tweet in a moment. But yeah, I would love to see that.
But anyways, I think the reason why Roku told Jean to teach Aang firebending, and I really like Katie's idea, but I think the reason why is because what we know about how Roku treated being the Avatar, he was kind of passive. He didn't do a lot of action. Like he just thought that he could like show up, do some bending, look the person in the eye, and be like, maybe we don't do that. And then he walks away. And he completely believes that, like, they'll do that. And
he's a school principal.
Exactly. Like, he really is. And so for Roku to step in at this point and be like, you will teach Aang firebending, it was kind of like his own way of taking action in the only way that he really could at this point. Because I think Roku really, does regret not doing a lot more when he was the Avatar. Mm-hmm. And he's always trying to, like, tell Aang, be more active, do more of these things, don't make my own mistakes. And so that's the reason why he came to Jean. It was because it was his moment to take action, and there was this one thing that he could change. And he was like, Aang won't make the mistakes that I made. He will do this. And yeah, he's learning it out of order, but who freaking cares? The world's gonna end here. And so I think that's why he like appeared to Jean and was like, yo, you gonna do this? And Jean was like, of course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I really like your perspective of it was really just like kind of through Aang.
Oh, yes. I think that's probably it. And, like, we know Aang gets a little fuzzy when it comes to Avatar stuff. So maybe it really was, like, Roku, like, popping up. But I like your idea that it was all in Jean's head. Excuse me.
Yeah, and it very well, like, could have. But I don't know. Like, it's not like the series even even does that on a regular basis, because they don't. So maybe
Yeah,
it is
true.
just Jean-Jean's more spiritual because he's part of the White Lotus and blah 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 blah. Who knows? Maybe you could write that
Avatar
question
babble.
down in your notebook.
Yeah. Yes. Here we are. Wait. There it is. Questions list.
Nice.
Ever growing. I'm thinking we'll do like 1 page a season, unless I just remembered last week I just put in all caps Miyuki. So I just put how does Roku appear to, I'm a slow writer. Oh gosh, how do you spell Jean-Jean?
It's Jeong.
Ah,
And then repeat
gotcha.
it again.
How does Roku appear to Jean-Jean? Boom, got it. We need an Order of the Blue Lotus bingo. I agree, Bree. I completely agree. And when the book comes out, there you go. Well, I will tell you what, we have something better than Order of the Blue Lotus bingo coming up. But I want to talk about one more thing really key to this episode, and that is Aang and Katara. Because we learned some groundbreaking stuff about Katara in this episode, and there's actually been a decent amount of fan theories kind of based around it. Because with this, Aang clearly, frustrated, like, oh, come on, you're wasting my time. And then Katara, just being the good waterbending teacher she is, she's like, maybe you shouldn't. I know you're in the middle of a pond, but maybe you shouldn't. And lo and behold, Aang does this little whoosh move, and Katara ends up getting burned. Yeah. Which, I think that's why I didn't like the episode as a kid, because that was terrifying to me.
I can see why that would be terrifying. Yeah.
Well, but there is, where did it go? Google Images. Do you fail me? Sometimes it saves as an internet file instead of a photo file, and it's a mess. But we have Katara with these scars. She puts her hand in the water and she learns magic. The water magic we hear about at the first scene of Avatar, and she's a healer. I thought that was so cool as a kid, and I think that's why I wanted to be, and I still want to be, a waterbender. Is sure, you can fight, you can make snow whenever you want, but you can also help and heal. How cool is that? But how does she not know?
That is a really good question. I feel like whenever she got hurt or what have you, she maybe this is the first time that she's ever gotten burnt. So if you cut yourself, you're not gonna go stick your hand in water.
In the salty ocean water.
Yeah. Or if you break a bone, you'll put ice on it, but you're not. So maybe this is the first time that she's ever really gotten burned, and so this is the first time where she ever just put the wound itself in the water, and then she takes a breath because she's trying to just calm herself down, and through just doing this, she just kind of stumbles upon it. Plus, all of the kind of waterbending moves that Katara has learned, aside from the waterbending scroll, she has taught herself. She had nobody in her tribe. She didn't even really know what all a waterbender could do. She just knew that she could do it. And so her not knowing that she was a healer, or even knowing that water could heal, I think makes a lot of sense. And her never doing it, never accidentally healing herself up until this point, again, I think makes sense because maybe she's never been burned, or maybe she's never been burned this severely, or what
Bree's here
have
to
you.
destroy your thought. Because Gran would have known. So with Sokka and all of his burns and cuts and things, she would have been like, hey Katara, just give this a try.
Yeah, but at the same time, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw something in like one of the Avatar fan groups that I'm a part of. Somebody was saying about how like each tribe of the water have like their own styles. So like, and it even included like the swamp benders. So like the swamp benders can bend vines, and then the southern water tribe kind of like invented blood bending, and then this northern water tribe had healing. And so I kind of don't wonder if Gran, who came from the northern water tribe, spoiler alert, I'm so sorry.
It's just us nerds here today. We're good.
she left her tribe on a very terrible note, and like she didn't want anything to do with their customs or their way of life or anything like that, and she didn't carry any of that to her new tribe. So her, like, let's say the northern water tribe really did invent healing, and obviously it's a big part of their culture, so you know, maybe why not. Why would she tell Katara that that's a possibility? Because that's just something that's like that's just
what
that's
if she
something.
didn't want her to be shoved into the same thing in the northern tribe?
Exactly.
She has to be a healer.
So like she came to the southern water tribe, and she saw that, you know, all waterbenders learned how to fight and all this other stuff, and maybe they didn't know how to heal, but she didn't even want to tell anybody, hey, you guys can heal, because maybe she was afraid that if they did that, then they'll be like, well, the women shouldn't learn how to fight, they should heal, and the men will just fight. And so maybe it's just Gran's own fear of sharing that with her new tribe, because she literally just walked away from all the bull from the northern water tribe. Why in the world would she take that with her to her new family?
Yeah, I agree with that. That makes sense. Headcanon approved. Oh no, your mic! Miyuki, stop it! Oh, poor Brandi.
My gosh. I don't know what's going on, guys.
Well, hey, you're back again. That's all that matters. But I wanted to point out the other thing that Bree shared on Twitter, because I can't say Twitter anymore now that I've listened to David Tennant say Twitter. This concept, Katara's burns, but she keeps the scars for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I've seen that before, and I think it's very interesting. And I even thought about that, like on this rewatch. It was like, oh man, what if she decided to keep the scars? And I feel like if that did happen, it would have a lot more repercussions for Aang's character. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think that he ever would have gotten to a place. I can't read those comments. So if somebody else is
Mario
already saying
Mike guy says Aang would never have gotten over it.
Yeah, like Aang never would have been able to firebend again. Like even if he did go on this great journey and learn about all this stuff that he learns about with the firebending and everything, he would never be able to like forgive himself. He might just freeze himself in some ice again. Who knows?
I'm just gonna wait until she's dead and then I'll come back.
Yeah, like he would not be able to deal with it. Like he would just be like, that's the end of the road, guys. Sorry, guess the world's gonna end. I accidentally scarred my girlfriend, but she's not really my girlfriend. I just want her to be.
Exactly, my wannabe girlfriend has some scars on her hands. Oh, yeah.
So, is it a beautiful concept? It sure is. But man, would it really wreck Aang.
Yes, exactly. Like, I mean, those are those would impact mobility too if they were scars. And with waterbenders, you need to be dexterous. You have to have dexterity. Words.
Okay, so on the bingo card, it's going to be, has Katie stumbled on her words? Has Brandi stumbled on her words?
And that's 2 free points there, free squares. But like, I have one of my most proud scars because I freaking love my scars. Like, it sounds weird, but like
No,
anytime I
I
get a
get you.
scar, like I don't try to. If they happen, it's like there's a story. Like I have one that looks like a rock in my knee because there was a rock in my knee. And this one's from Della Duck, my Della Duck cosplay. I had a serrated kitchen knife that I used
Really?
to cut a hole in a large Christmas ornament that was round. Knife, round. You can see where that went. But it is right on the joint. And I didn't go to the hospital right away until my boss said, you are not allowed back in the building until you do. And so now I have a pretty wicked scar that shows up pretty often. It actually looks pretty good today. But it definitely, my pointer finger can't bend quite as well as it used to. So that would totally affect her bending.
Yeah. And I feel like maybe one of the reasons why she didn't, like, I don't think she chose to get rid of the scars. I think that the wound was like so new, so fresh that like, yeah, she didn't know what she was doing, but since she caught it right away, that it just kind of like ended up healing herself. Or that river that they're by is actually spirit water.
Spirit water. Yes. It's the fountain of youth, except it's spirit water.
And nobody knows. And nobody knows.
It would make sense because there are waterbenders in that area, so you know. Also, I just realized these photos are probably spoilers, but
they're not too bad spoilers.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad we agree. It was a cool idea.
It's a cool idea. And I like the idea, but it can't work. Yep. I'm sorry.
Yep. No, I'm good without it.
It compromises our main hero a little too much.
Exactly. Like that Aang would be useless in a firebending situation. Like, I feel like he would be aiming to protect Katara in any instance of fire at that point. He'd be like, I have to protect you.
And
so
I suppose, like, from a story standpoint, it would be interesting to see, you know, if she did keep the scars, could Aang get over it? I think it would have been a bigger moment when he was learning firebender if she like had, but it's just
right. Yeah.
I feel like it would have I feel like it would have been like just this whole bigger thing. And even in season 2, spoiler alert, when he is unlocking his chakras, he even says like one of his regrets is burning Katara. So like he never would have gotten over that if she kept her scars. And I think the only reason why he did kind of get over it is because it kind of ended up not really being that big of a deal. Like, she heals himself. Sokka makes a couple of jokes of why she hadn't done that when they were growing up. And, like, you know, credits roll, episode over. On to the next.
On to the Northern Air Temple.
Exactly.
Yeah. They kind of gloss over that a little bit. Like, I'd be a little more traumatized.
Yeah, if it had stayed, I think it would have made it, like, so much of a bigger story standpoint and would have affected things so much differently. But, like, the small moment that it has is great because it's like, oh, Katara can heal. That's pretty cool. And then, like, Katara healing becomes, like, this major thing anyways. So it's all good. Yeah. I don't need her to keep the scars.
No, exactly. Like, and her look in this, that was my look when I first watched the episode. Like, what? You can heal? And also, Sokka trying to get a fish hook out with another fish hook.
Classic.
That's so bad. Like, are you a fisherwoman, Brandi?
Fisher people? No, I'm not.
That just reminds me of the platter people.
That's what I was doing.
Yes.
I got Dr. Doofenshmirtz on the brain.
Oh my gosh. Oh, don't even get me started. He likes my comments on TikTok. He knows who I am.
That's so sweet.
Like, when he was reenacting, like, from Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension. Sidetrack. If you haven't seen that movie, really good movie. Also traumatizing. But he was doing a scene with his little with his daughters when they were little. He's like, fix the machine. And he was in Doofenshmirtz's voice, and they were acting out as Phineas and Ferb. They're like, no. And he goes, okay, you forced my hand. And he pulls out a sock puppet, which he does in the movie. He just goes, fix the machine. And they're like, no. And he says, man, when I was your age, I would have said or done anything a sock puppet said. And they're like, how old do you think we are? He goes, I don't know, like 4? And it's really funny. And he reenacts the scene in real life. And I commented, dude, if you walk into a bar and you start doing that, you know how many people's lives you will make? Just go around talking as Doofenshmirtz, and he liked it. So I was very excited. That was a sidetrack that had to be told.
That's okay. Here's another quick sidetrack. I can't say that it happens weekly, but it happens at least once or twice a month. In my head, I will go, man, if I had a nickel for every time this happened, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's interesting that it happened twice. And then, like, I take this little moment to be like, Dr. Doofenshmirtz, and then I go about my normal adult life.
It's true.
I'm pretty certain that I did this exact same thing just yesterday.
You know, I am actually, because I keep note cards up here for good ideas. Doofenshmirtz, 2 nickels, TikTok sound. I'm gonna do that. Because I imagine, like, I could pull the audio and just be like, if I had a nickel for every time this happened, I'd have 2 nickels. And it could be, like, some weird weather phenomenon that shouldn't happen. Or, like, me getting marriage proposals just from random people. Just 2's not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
But it's weird that it happened twice.
I could see that becoming a viral sound on TikTok. Oh, my gosh.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, Louise, you have no idea what we're talking about.
Phineas and Ferb.
Oh, Louise.
Phineas and Ferb.
Wait a second. You're over in England, right? If I remember people correct, because I know Rapunzel's in the south, because Rapunzel had to evacuate from the hurricane. So as I recall...
no, poor Rapunzel.
Rapunzel,
well, thoughts go out to Rapunzel.
Yes, Rapunzel evacuated, her car overheated, so she ended up just going and staying with her parents. She's fine, though. We kept in touch during the hurricane, and she's all good. So that probably explains why she isn't in the chat yet. So,
no,
yes,
that's
you're in
fine.
England.
Like, everybody has their own life, but, you know.
Yeah.
Glad that she's okay. I hope that she remains okay.
Oh, I'm going to find Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. 2 nickels, because I can play the audio on the stream. And, oh my gosh, I'm just realizing that soundbite is coming from the movie that I was referencing for my bit. So, if y'all will indulge for a moment, so we can teach Louise, because Ferb is British, and so is the father in the episode, or in the series. So, if y'all don't...
I thought they were... Are they... I thought they were Scottish.
Oh, no, lassie. No, they're not.
I knew I was going to upset somebody. I just didn't know who I was going to upset.
It's okay. At least they weren't Scottish and you call them Irish. Because they are similar but very different Celtic traditions.
I know the difference. I just thought they were Scottish, but...
It says, bless me bagpipes, and on the backside it says, curse me kilts. I love Scotland. Anywho, we're just going to play this real quick soundbite, because also, if you've watched Avatar, I feel like you've enjoyed the adventures of Phineas and Ferb, too. It just kind of goes hand in hand. Maybe?
Yeah, Phineas and Ferb is, like, one of the last cartoons of my childhood. Like, one of the last great.
So let's see if this plays. I think the audio will play if I know from past experience. So here we go.
Send him to the dome! Yes, I do. Yes, doom, and doom. You owe me 3 sodas. Okay, doom for him, too. What? But I'm you! Wow! I had a nickel for every time I was doomed by a puppet. I have 2 nickels. Isn't a lot. We're gonna have to fight, right?
That's what we reference.
And that's what I go through at work. A lot more than what I should.
It's so great. Oh, isn't it fun being an adult? Uh,
Isn't it fun being an adult nerd?
yes, it is. Yes, it is late for Louise. Don't stay up too late. True. Yes, this is actually we got good speed going with this. Oh my gosh, we have so many people popping in. Corey, hello. How's it going? Glad you enjoyed that. Kylo Tim, hello there. How's it going? Seriously, an amazing Kylo Ren cosplay. Check out his account. And we also have Louise saying, okay, gotta check out Phineas and Ferb. So,
it's worth it. It's worth
now,
it.
the reason I had YouTube pulled up actually was because of one other part that I want to talk about this episode, which is the Fireflakes. Binging with Babish.
Yes.
Dude has 9.2 million subscribers. Actually makes Fireflakes. And it's incredible. It's a step-by-step recipe, so you can make them on your own.
Don't you have to have a dehydrator, or am I wrong?
You can use cornflakes, from what I've seen.
Yeah,
you have to crush up all the spices and everything.
Yeah,
actually,
I watched this when it first came out, and I never rewatched it. So, because I was like, well, I'll never know I'll never be able to make those.
Yeah. Well, I think you can take cornflakes, and then you can douse them in something and mix it together.
Okay, but you know me, and I live by the Adam Savage saying of, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. So if I'm gonna do it.
Yes. Okay, so yes, he does do it in a dehydrator, because that's a fancy ass computer looking thing. Oh,
look at those French doors, so fancy. Good for him.
But just imagine a Fire Nation person whipping out a dehydrator.
Well, would they need a dehydrator, or could they just heat the thing with so much expertise to do such a thing?
True.
I don't know. These are really pushing the limits here.
See, what you could do is you could just make phyllo dough. Okay, so that's what he did. He took it and then he fried it, and there was another option where you could just use the corn flakes because they look very similar, and it turned out like that.
I mean, I think that there's another thing that you can buy at Spanish or Mexican markets that are kind of like that, pre-made. I don't know what they're called, but the cinnamon twisties from Taco Bell. That's what they're made out of, and you can buy them at Mexican
I'm gonna have
markets.
to look into that.
Yeah.
So, boo. Yeah, I'm gonna try maybe making some, because I don't handle spice well. But I'm willing to give it a shot.
So, side tangent.
Yes.
Where I live, there's this restaurant, and it has one of the spiciest burgers you can get. It has ghost peppers and all this other stuff. And my coworkers had been there before I had started. They had gone there, and somebody had ate it, and it was the most terrible thing of their existence. They were talking about how spicy this burger is, and I love spicy food, and half the time really spicy things don't affect me at all. So I was like, this burger sounds amazing. And so just on a random Wednesday,
oh no,
we go out, and they didn't think I was gonna order it, because we just went there at lunch, and we were gonna have 6 more hours of work or what have you. So they were like, you're not gonna do it. And I ordered it, and their faces when I ordered it, and then it came, and they were all just looking at me and watched me take my first bite, and I was like, it could be spicier.
Oh my gosh.
That thing,
you machine,
it didn't do anything to me, and I ate the whole thing, and they're like, your stomach's gonna hurt later on. And periodically throughout the day, they kept coming back. Even somebody who doesn't work in my office kept coming to my office and was like, boo, you okay?
How you doing?
I'm fine.
Oh. No explosions.
So I would love to try some Fireflakes, because I am looking for something that has the heat.
All right. Well, hey, I mean, you got options. You could make it. I think where did it go? Is it this one? There's actually like fan art of it. There it is. That I can show it now because why not? It's not technically, fan art that we're accustomed to, but like Flamin' Hot Cheetos kind of fire flakes.
I like it.
I'd be game for that.
I don't know why Aang is on it though.
Yeah. Well, also the fact that its net weight is 80 ounces, which I'm pretty sure is like heavy. Because you got what, a 12-ounce bottle of soda, 80 ounces worth of chips.
So it's an industrial size bag of Fire Flakes. Get it at Sam's Club.
Costco. Yeah.
There's 2 types of people in this world.
Oh god, that shows a difference. Regional differences. Do you think
I've never been to a Costco.
I personally have not either, but everyone at work goes to Costco. So, oh yeah, no, that's Kuzan. That's not Aang. What? No one knows.
What?
I don't know. I've never had Flamin' Hot Cheetos before, so.
You've never had what?
I've never had Flamin' Hot Cheetos before.
Interesting.
I've only had Cheetos like twice in my life.
You probably would not like them at all.
So, slight side tangent. Still relevant. I grew a bell pepper plant for the past few months, and his name is George, because my grandpa's name. Well, my grandpa's name was George, and he always had a garden with peppers in it. And I walked through the greenhouse, and I smelled it. I was like, that's my grandpa. What? And so I got this plant, and I named it George, not realizing I had to eat George. But I harvested George a few weeks ago, and George was like a nice, sweet yellow bell pepper. At least that's what the tag said. No, George was spicy. And I've never really eaten bell peppers before. I took a bite of this cooked pepper, put in stuffed peppers and everything, didn't think anything of it, and I was video chatting with my parents. I was like, guys, check it out, I finally cooked George, and which sounds weird, and I was like, I'm choking. I can't even handle sweet bell peppers apparently. So
wait,
heaven forbid I ever get my hands on fire flakes.
Did you eat it green, or did you let it ripen to like the yellow color?
I ripened him. Like, he was perfectly, entirely yellow, just gorgeous, just perfectly round and everything, and then he betrayed me.
Well, you know what? That's what you get for eating George.
Well, here's the other thing too. George has produced 3 other peppers. My dad, who's my grandpa's son, has 2 other siblings. So there's 3 of them. I have named them subsequently Lou, Velo, and Roseanne after my dad, my aunt, and my uncle. And so we're just waiting to see if there's another round that comes through, and I'll be like, okay, it's John and Katie, and after this, who knows?
Maybe the plant will predict the future.
Oh, it's like, how many children will I have, you fortune-telling bell pepper plant? Oh, I feel like my neighbors judge me. Because I would go out with my camera and be like, oh, George, look at you. And I'd take pictures. And they're just like, what? But yes, that is pretty much everything in the episode. I think we're ready for fan theories, if you have any, Brandi.
Yes. So one of the fan theories is obviously like the bending and why they have to learn in that order and stuff like that. But the other fan theory that I have is kind of like why Jean deserted the Navy. And so we know that Jean taught Zhao.
Mm-hmm.
And so my theory is that Zhao was actually the last student that Jean had in the Navy. And so like Jean wasn't always this like, he didn't always fear fire. Like he was just like, your typical Fire Navy officer. Like he fought in the war because maybe he thought that it was the honorable thing to do. Obviously, like the Fire Nation uses propaganda against its citizens very well. And so, he thought that the war was the correct thing to do and everything, and he kind of like went through his career thinking that he was this great man and that fire should absolutely, control the whole world because why not? We're so great. And then Zhao, like, kind of comes along and becomes his student, and Jean just, like, sees how out of control Zhao is, and how Zhao doesn't necessarily want to win the war to spread the wealth of the Fire Nation. He just wants to win. And so he kind of, like, saw that brutality of Zhao, and I think Zhao did something, like, horrific on one of their missions, and it kind of made him, Jean, like, think we're not on the right side. And so that's why he kind of left the Navy. That's why he left Zhao, and why he has, like, such a disdain for Zhao. And that's why he left, and that's why he changes his mind about the way that he thinks of fire, and how fire can only destroy and should be this thing that should be feared, and how firebenders aren't that great. And, maybe he finds, in his 10-year journey away from the Navy, he finds the White Lotus and joins them, and maybe they help him a bit, but it's just, like, just not enough. And he still just really fears fire. And I think that's why Jean deserted the Navy, is because of Zhao.
I wholeheartedly accept that. And I'll tell you why, because my mom's a teacher, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going to say, there's this great moment where they're on the river, and Jean is, like, surrounded by the rest of the soldiers, and Zhao is talking to him, and he's like, give me the avatar, and Jean's like, you will never defeat him, I've never seen such raw power. And Zhao kind of, like, scoffs at this, like, you've never seen such raw power, but you've seen me? Like, hello? And so I think that was, like, a little bit of a dig, because Jean does see how powerful Zhao is. He's seen Zhao do something very horrific, and maybe he feels like he helped create Zhao and something like that. And so, like, him making this dig of, like, the avatar is so powerful, I've never seen such raw talent. It's just like this that. Dig at Zhao, and you're just like, ha!
Yeah, it's totally not true. He's like, he's weak, who cares? But screw you.
Exactly.
It's in the book now. Why did Jean why did Jean desert? Was it because of Zhao? So, yeah. But
I think that it was.
See, and it's totally reasonable, because my mom was a teacher. Not just a teacher, an elementary school teacher in inner city Battle Creek, Michigan. The halfway between Chicago and Detroit for the drug runners. I know this because my grandpa's golf course was the halfway house for Al Capone.
I didn't know that! Oh my gosh!
Yeah, apparently it was a part of the Underground Railroad, so it still has all the caverns and stuff underneath it, and the trail. And you can follow it into downtown Marshall, which is, like, several miles away. And it also was Al Capone's halfway house.
Oh my gosh!
It was a farm, and it just inconspicuous until the highway was built next to it. But yes, my back home Battle Creek is not good, and I mean, I love it, but I hate it. And my mom was a teacher in their public school system back in the 90s. Yes, 90s. And she had so many students now that she goes and she'll look through, like, the police reports and stuff, and she'll be like, oh, hey, that's my former student. He slaughtered his family and is now in jail for life. I could have told you that when I had him as a student. And, like, that is exactly what pops into my head when I think of Jean. It just, like, looks at Jean and goes, yeah, I could have told you that when he was a kid. So, as a teacher, yeah, those kids wear you down.
Okay, wow.
And it is true. One of her students slaughtered his entire family and is now in prison. Another one was running a dogfighting ring. A couple others are sexual predators. It's incredible. It's incredible. Don't be a teacher, kids. Don't be a teacher. Let's see.
Again, I'm kind of glad I was homeschooled.
Yeah, no. It's the choice to take. Yeah, having to be AI. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because all of my classmates are well-rounded individuals.
You'd like to think.
They're great citizens.
Yeah, Bree, that's horrifying. Yeah, it's turned more into a coping mechanism to be like, oh, hey, I wonder which students arrested this week. But it's yeah, I'm like, Zhao
Sad.
would totally be that student. For sure.
And I think Jean had like other students that like he had throughout his naval career. It was just like Zhao was just like the thing that finally broke him, and he was just like,
I'm done.
we're not good people. Like, we're not. This war is not a good thing. Like, no.
I think I can pinpoint the moment that my mom had that moment, because she was teaching little kids, and one of them asked her to tie his shoe for him, or her to tie his shoe, and she bent down and was tying his shoe, and he open mouth sneezed on her head, and I think that might have been the final straw. like wet open mouth sneeze, and she's not a big fan of germs. So yeah. Also, side note, getting back onto this. If Fireflakes really did come in an 80-ounce bag, agree. Bree's coming in clutch, filling in for Rapunzel. Much appreciated. Oh my gosh. But yes, are there any other fan theories? Because that one is wholeheartedly accepted.
No, that was it. I had the bending one, and I had this one, and yeah, I like that. That was it.
Well, I have a thing with fan art that I think people will appreciate, if it'll actually happen. There we go. I think this is it. There it is. So here's one bit of fan art because I couldn't actually get Pinterest to download it. This is for a LJ Fire Nation calendar thingy. Their words, not mine. But the reason I show this one is because someone else suggested that maybe as like an Avatar extra, Avatar side kind of thing, maybe we could have a book from Jean called Introspection of a Deserter. And he could tell his story. Because, you know, we have Avatar Studios.
Yeah. You know, there's all these things of like, oh, fans want this made, fans want this made, blah, 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 blah. And I think one of the major things is like fans want to see what I was like in the army.
Yes! Yes!
And I'm like, I don't want to see Iroh in the army because I think he's kind of the same person that he was. Like, I think that he believed wholeheartedly that the war was a good thing and that they were spreading their wealth, the Fire Nation was spreading their wealth to everybody else, and that it was this good thing and everything. Like, I think he believed in, you know, Fire Lord Sozin's idea of what it was, and so he believed in what his father's ideals of what the war was. And I think he kept, like, I think he was very patriotic, and, like, he loves his nation, and he didn't see anything wrong with the war. And I think that he was still, like, this honorable man. Like, he didn't do any war crimes. Like, he was just fighting in a war because that's what generals do. And, like, like,
well, that's his family.
Exactly. And so the moment that made him pause and think, this isn't good, is when his son died. And so I don't want to see him when he was in the army, because I think he's going to be exactly the same person. I want to see him right after Lu Ten dies, and he's taking this journey from Ba Sing Se back to the Fire Nation, and he goes on, like, this spiritual journey, and he turns into the Iroh that we see. Like, I don't want to see the Iroh when Lu Ten is alive. I want to see him after Lu Ten dies, because I feel like that span of time where he doesn't return back to the Fire Nation, because he doesn't return back to the Fire Nation right away. I want to see that journey, and I think that in my head, that's when he finds the White Lotus. So, like, I want him to find these other people, and maybe Jean's already a member by that time, because Jean has been out of the Navy for 10 years, and Zuko was like 11 or so when Lu Ten dies. So.
Oh, Bree disagrees with you. Bree wants to see Lu Ten.
You know, here's the thing. Like, always go back to like Star Wars and stuff like that, just because it's something that I know a lot of. Boba Fett was pretty cool in the original trilogies. Like, Boba Fett was like the best thing, and the fans built Boba Fett up in his head like so good. Like, oh man, he's so cool. Yeah. And then Jango Fett happened, and then it tried to explain Boba Fett, and it just ruined the whole thing for a lot of people. Obviously, Clone Wars, the series, has done a lot to, like, reprimand that. But, like, Lutin has kind of become a Boba Fett-esque character. The fans have built him up in their head, and if they were to do something, it'll upset a lot of people. So I feel like I don't need Lutin.
Yeah.
Like, he serves his purpose really well, and I feel like if we start explaining a lot, it'll start taking away from Iroh's character, and that's why I don't want it. I want to be proven wrong. Like, I think those stories are worth telling, and hopefully, you know, somebody could do it justice, but at this point in time, I don't really want it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. That's the thing with Star Trek and fandoms in general is these days you build up these characters and they think, oh, hey, we could make some money on this. Or, hey, like, if it's actually a good creator, go, hey, I think I could tell their story. And no matter what, it's going to vary from what you think personally, because everyone has different viewpoints. So it's like, it might be better to just find new characters and let people live out their lives on fanfiction.com. Or .net. I don't frequent in this much.
But no, like this introspection of a deserter, I think would be very interesting. I think I would much rather see Jean Jean's story and some of these other side characters that we've seen throughout the series be built up before we build up Iroh or Hakoda and all these other, you know, wonderful characters that we see and we have some limited understanding about. But I would like to see something from Jean Jean or
I think that works. And Louise says you don't want to dwell on the sad, so
no, like we don't, like it's sad, like we don't just pick it, just tell the story right when he dies, like again. So sorry, I'm going into like movie mode.
Do it. I mean,
if
anyone in this will make a movie, it's you.
But like have the opening sequence be the Fire Nation camp right about a bossing say. Iroh is in his tent, maybe writing a letter or something like that, and somebody just comes in and delivers him the message. And he just drops his pen, and then we fade to black, and then we fade up to the title, and it's like, I don't know, Iroh Sad Chronicles or something.
Iroh.
And and like that, like I don't need to see Lutin. I don't need to hear his name spoken. The story starts right when Iroh gets the news, and then the next thing is a hard cut to him walking through the Earth Kingdom. Like,
yes! Exactly. He's just walking down a dirt road. And
exactly. He's wandering. He hasn't had a cup of tea in days.
Oh, I hate to see that.
He's lost who he is.
Oh no, poor Iroh.
It's gonna be really sad, but the payoff is gonna be better. At least in my head.
Happy. It ends happy. Like, it could end with Iroh passing away, going to the spirit world, and being greeted by Lutin. And he could just be like, "Hi, Dad," and fades to black.
Maybe? Maybe? Are we writing a feature film?
I think we are. We have a cast. Yeah, you, me, Bree, Louise, and I'm sure Rapunzel would be in it too. So, and you know, Kylo Tim, like, just look at that face. Could be a Zuko. Could be a Zuko. Or could be Lutin at the end. Who knows? We could make it work.
Who knows? Who knows? We'll go on the journey together and find out.
Oh, that'd be so great. Oh, I wish I had the time. But I think that's pretty much everything. Is there anything else, Brandi?
No, I feel like we've got on a lot of rants.
We have, and it's been amazing. And none of them were about Tootsie Pops. So,
Hey, but
hashtag
there
enough
was a
topics.
couple about Dr. Doofenshmirtz, so we can't take the win on everything tonight.
Avatar the Airbender. How strange to see you here. Just, I could see him. I could totally see him.
No. The joke is, so Aang walks in, but he has the headband on, and he goes, Kuzan! And then Aang goes, I'm sorry, rips the headband off and goes, Avatar Aang!
That'd be hilarious. Or no, it's like, Kuzan, and then Avatar Kuzan, and then he like changes
shaves
his
real
whole
quick.
Avatar. Yeah, Avatar, eh? I smell a crossover from Disney to Nickelodeon.
Yeah, all we have to do is get Nickelodeon and Disney to like come together, and it'll be fine.
Oh, Cartoon Network
Hey.
just sits like the sad child in the corner.
Hey, if DC and Marvel can make a crossover comic book, I don't see why we can't let this happen.
If Star Trek and the Green Lantern can make a crossover comic book, anything's possible.
Precisely.
See, that's your happy note for the end of the day / beginning of your morning, Louise. Is anything's possible, especially in the world of sci-fi. But thank you guys so much for stopping in. We got Louise, we got Bree, who, stepped into those shoes. They were big shoes to fill, but you totally did, and it's amazing. Rapunzel, if you're watching this on the replay, we hope you're back home safe and everything's still okay. For those of you who are outside the U.S. and don't necessarily know, we had a Category 4 hurricane hit Louisiana, which is where Louise is. And a Category 4, it's a scale from 1 to 5, and it causes winds of around 150 to 170 miles an hour when you consider the gusts. So basically, southern Louisiana doesn't exist right now, and they're going to be without power for potentially months because the power station that supplies the area was swept away into the Atlantic Ocean. Like, literally, they have search teams trying to find it, from what I've heard. It's bad. We laugh because otherwise we'd cry.
Yeah.
Cartoon Network is where the crossover happens.
Neutral ground. Yeah, no, this is right. This is right.
This will happen. If I can make one thing happen, it'll be this. Actually, so Dan Povenmire, who's the voice of Doofenshmirtz, made Phineas and Ferb, he has cameo. And I'm just saying, we could have him cameo. Just, Kuzan. Avatar Kuzan. Avatar Aang. But yes, that is it for us tonight, guys. Thanks for everyone who just stopped by to say hi. Tim, we have Corey, we have, scrolling back up, pretending that I'm reading. There we go. Timon, we have Nate. Everyone, thank you so much for stopping by. And, you know what? Do you want to give a little tip to the 3 people who are still watching right now?
Do I know something?
I think you vaguely know. I might have mentioned it. But yes, so our season 1 finale is coming up pretty quick, unless of course
that it is.
In that case, it'll be Christmas. But I think
both things are liable to happen.
I think it's about time that we celebrate our comment section and do a giveaway. And Hot Topic has Avatar pins. The Cabbage Man is spacing out a bit. But yes, we have Avatar pins that I picked up, and we're going to be doing a giveaway here for the last episode of the season. So, to show our support. It's not a lot, but I imagine people will appreciate.
Yes, because we really do appreciate anybody who stops by, either live or on the rewatch. You guys are amazing. Because we literally just show up and, like, this is just our hang time, guys.
It is. Yeah.
And for whatever reason, instead of having a private Avatar book club, we decided to make it public. Because why not?
Exactly.
So
we have our friends.
Exactly. So it really means a lot that you guys take the time to listen to our ramblings. Hopefully some of it isn't entertaining. Yeah.
I hope it is too. Otherwise, it's just like, holy cow. So yeah, imagine people just watch for the shock factor.
That could be it too. And if you're here for that, we love you as well. Like,
indeed. We love all of you. Much more fun this way. I agree. I want a Space Cabbage fan pin now. Hey, I mean, it's in the giveaway. So tune in for whenever we do the last episode of the season, and imagine we'll just be giving them away during show, because that's the only way I know how to do giveaways on YouTube. But that's it. And also there might be another thing that I haven't told anyone about. So Brandi, I will run it past you before I run it past them. But come back, because there's going to be more tips
exciting
and tricks
things are happening.
Exactly. But that's it for us, guys. We'll see you next week. Do you have anything?
I am good for next week.
Too.
But sometimes we say that and then something happens.
Exactly.
But we're gonna be good. We're gonna be here. It's gonna be the Northern Air Temple, which is a kind of like an okay episode. Like, I'm not mad at it.
See,
Middle
I
of the road
enjoyed
for
it.
me.
This would be interesting.
Every episode you enjoy, I'm like, meh, let's just keep on flying. And every episode I really like, you're like, I hate it.
Okay, let's just keep on flying. Oh, it's gonna be great, guys. Just come back for the chaotic energy. I'm sure we'll have some people on. And of course, if you want to maybe pop on and join us, who knows? Send us a message on Twitter. Maybe Brandi will one day log on. And yeah, we love to have people on to chat about it. And of course, the last thing to talk about, the role-playing game, the Avatar RPG tabletop game, over $8 million.
Yes, I looked at that today. So if you want to get it, like I think it probably has like 15 hours left on it.
Yeah, something small.
Yeah, it's coming to a close, so.
I have purchased it so we can play it online.
I got it as well.
It's gonna be great. You did?
I got it. I did. I didn't think I was going to, and then I had a dream about me like going to purchase it, and the time ran out because the clock was wrong, and so I was like, okay, well, if we're having nightmares about missing it, maybe we should just purchase it.
That is a sign from God. Very glad you took that. Hey, Louise got it too.
Yes!
Yeah. International gameplay. So we're all just going to be playing together, and we'll all have our own dice set and everything.
Wow. It'll be so special.
Amazing. Yes, thank you guys. As Bree says, have a good night, and we'll see you guys again, hopefully next week. Bye. Click end. I almost clicked leave studio. I swear.
That would have been so much fun.
That'd be the death of me. One of these days. Bye.